Welcome to More Than Mindset, the only podcast that bridges the gap between spirituality and success. Go beyond the mind with clarity and confidence coach Kim Guillory and learn how to integrate your passion to serve with your skills and experience to create a business you love. Let's get started.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the show. We are officially back on stay-at-home orders for another 15 days. We received that this week. So just noting this date and time, a little more in history, what's happening in our world. So I am in Louisiana. I'm not sure about the other states. I do believe things have started opening back up. I do not watch the news, so I don't keep up with any of that stuff other than someone texted me and said, hey, we have to stay at home for 15 more days. So I'm going to tell you guys, personally, hasn't really affected me aside from I was craving my family, but I decided that I wanted to see them, hug them, love them, kiss them. And if that's how I'm to go, then that's how I'm to go. I just made that decision when I realized that my daughter was at home because she's on the front line and she had several patients who tested positive at the nursing home. And so she had to stay away from her family, from her kids, from us. And I was like, actually, this is not cool. So if we're going to pick this up at the grocery store, or my husband's going to pick it up at the grocery store and bring it home, because I have not left home, by the way, then I would rather just get it for my kids. So I'm going to go ahead and take my chance. And I believe there are quite a few young, healthy people who are saying this also, who want to go to work. I'm like, are we really fighting for the right to work? Has this what has come to? Like, over the years, we fight for women's having the option of what to do with their body. We fight for same-sex marriage and we fight for things, right? We fight for rights. We fight for choices. And I'm like, it kind of feels like we're having to fight for the choice to go to work and support ourselves. It feels a little weird. I've been exploring this in my mind. I have a lot of thoughts that these self-reliant people, I'm talking about service-based industries, cosmetologists, massage therapists, these people who have opened their own business and pay their own expenses, their own healthcare, and they are locked out of work right now and have not received stimulus or any type of support. And I'm confused. Anyway, I'm just going to lay this here just for remembering this point in time and what we are experiencing. I kind of talked about this on social media. It didn't go so well. Some people had opinions. And I'm like, isn't it interesting that the perception is according to the area that they live in? So someone commented on my page that she was really worried because she was compromised. Her lungs were compromised and she was afraid she was going to be called to go back to work too soon. And I'm like, actually, you still have the choice because you don't have to go to work. You can choose to quit. You can choose not to go. But these kids, these people, these adults, I'll say, they don't even have a choice. It's no, you just stay home. You have no job and you will be fined $1,000 a day if we find out that you opened your business. It's a little bit different. And I think what's interesting about it is the decisions are made according to certain areas, and some areas are not affected at all. And they are receiving this hit economically. So in other words, for them, they are taking a mental and emotional hit, right? They're taking a financial hit. For others, it's a physical hit. So I'm just curiously watching and exploring. I'd love to see what other people are thinking about this. So I put it on my page. And just so you know, if ever you come over to my social media page, it is open to all thoughts. And I do call them thoughts because I realize it's just a lot of thinking going on. No one really has facts, aside from when a rule is set. But not sure how all this plays out. But I am going to leave it here because it's on my mind and it's gotten me really curious. And the word homogenize keeps coming up. And I'm like, is that what we have come to? It's like this homogenized society or humanity where we basically want to treat everyone exactly the same, whether they're affected or not, because it's really not the same. We don't have industry here. It is mostly mom and pop. We're in a very rural area and I just don't see a really, maybe I'm blind. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing, right? But you can go to a chiropractor, but you can't go to a massage therapist. You can go to the grocery store, buy booze and honey buns, but you can't get a haircut. I'm just a little confused. So I'm just going to leave that there and get on with the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today I want to talk about the Punchline Approach. It's been brought to my attention that someone look for the episode so that they can learn about the Punchline Approach and said that there is none there. And I was like, well, interesting. We're 65, 66 episodes in, and I have not talked about the basis of everything that I talk about. Thought that was interesting. So let me tell you what the Punchline Approach is. It is a process, a user's guide. It's 5 simple steps to managing your mind and body. It is the framework for change and transformation. The Punchline Approach is the process that I went through that entirely changed who I am, my perception, how I do business, my relationships, my wealth, like everything. And the way that I discovered this is by going through the process backwards. In other words, how did I arrive here is the question that I asked my brain. And I went to work. And I went all the way back from my teenage years, even preteen, all the way through the married years, the raising children years. I started a business when I was 24 years old, and I am still in business today. It has changed several times. I've had multiple businesses. I started off like in nails and tanning. I went into cosmetology, and then I moved my way into fitness and health and yoga and massage therapy and mind-body connection and coaching. So you can see how it went. And when I got to this point where I was finally like healed, like my nervous system had neutralized, I'll say. So I was able to manage my mind. I was able to regulate my emotions. I had some power and control in my life. And I was invited to a platform. And that was one of the conditions. It was writing a book, and like we had to do interviews and we had to do live video and teachings and stuff like that. And I said yes. And so I wrote the book. And when I decided like what I was going to write, I just kind of went into my inner self, right? And asked the question, I was like, how could I serve? How could I help, share, tell people how they can transform? Because I wasn't really sure how it had happened. I had done many things in order to heal my body. For years, I had 15 surgeries and I was on 7 or 8 medications for 24 years. I was like really depressed and I was in pain a lot of my life. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, with thyroid and adrenal trouble, like you name it, guys. All of the stuff, all of the things, all of the illness and disease and chronic pain and depression and all of that stuff, insomnia, restless leg syndrome. I could give you the whole list. So when I finally got to the other side of it and I found light at the end of the tunnel and I started feeling better every year as I aged, I felt like my body got better. It got healthier and my mind was clearer and I had more energy. And the framework, when I worked my way backwards, is the Punchline Approach. So it's 5 simple steps. So what I did is wrote down step by step. Okay, it started here and then this. And then how did I do this? And I just answered the questions. So it is a practice. The Punchline Approach is a practice. I think of like Buddhism as a practice and yoga as a practice and spirituality. Like it is a practice. It is something that you contemplate on, something that you think about, that you make conscious decisions about. It's an awareness, right? And I consider the Punchline Approach the same exact thing. So this is a practice to self-healing and self-empowerment. If you wanted to simplify, like, well, yeah, but what is it? Like, what do you mean? I would say it is the journey to inner joy. It was the first time I experienced bliss and joy and ease and freedom in my mind, freedom in my body, freedom in even me speaking and standing up for myself. I felt so empowered and so in control of my inner life that my outer life began to follow suit. I already had the understanding that our mental and emotional self is materialized in our physical body, in our physical world. So in other words, what you think and feel, you materialize like in your body with illness, disease, health, pain, whatever it is, whatever you're thinking, whatever your belief is, and then also in your life. So it shows up in your relationships, it shows up in your money, in your occupation, in your environments, how you think, like what is your perception? It shows up everywhere, right? So this was a really easy way for me to teach it. And what I do in my coaching is I take you through the practical experience so that you embody the punchline approach. So it's a matter of integrating all of your life experiences, your skill set, your perception, your understanding, like most of my clients have been doing personal transformation work or self-improvement or some sort of self-help, I'll say, for many, many years. And they were like, I have done all that. I've meditated. I've done yoga. I've read all the books. I do Abraham Hicks. Like they say, I've done all of that. Byron Katie is my guru, just they have all of the stories, but they still have something missing. And I believe that's what this process is. It is the ability to process unintegrated emotions and then have an integrated experience, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And then an embodiment of the work. So you actually experience it, learn it, and then you become it. Through the coaching that I do, if you work with me, you master this manual, because that's what I call it. I call it a user's guide or a user's manual for managing the mind and the body. If you can manage your mind, you can also manage your body. It's about bringing them together. Okay. So another word that I use for the punchline approach is a bridge. So it's a bridge of the spiritual and material world. So it's a way to connect them. You could say it is mind, body, soul integration. Now, I work with health and wellness entrepreneurs, so it would be someone who were in the practice of holistic health already. So they already have the understanding of the mind-body connection or the mind-body disconnection and how that creates illness and disease in their body and maybe even health and wealth issues in their life. Okay. So in other words, unhealthy relationships and unhealthy money stories or money relationships. It's all connected. So these holistic health practitioners, they could be massage therapists as well as yoga teachers or meditation teachers, spiritual teachers or spiritual healers, energy healers, Reiki masters, those sorts of people. But it doesn't necessarily eliminate anyone. The difference is they already have some sort of training, and I help them to integrate this process with their training and with their experience, and then embody it in a package that helps them put their work out into the world. In other words, they have a passion to serve and help people, in particularly help them heal their life. Now, I don't mean this person is the healer. It's always the individual who self-heals. We just guide them in that direction and help them reconnect what has been separated by society, by the system, by the conditioning of the world. We were born whole. But then the stories, the conditioning, the patterns that were passed down, that were taught to us is what has separated us. So our mind has been separated from our spirituality, from our physical body, and then our emotions have been completely left out. What I learned through my own self-healing journey is that those pieces had to come together, that we can't leave parts of ourself out. Okay. Especially if you have suffered some sort of trauma in the past, then there are samskaras, there are scars in the energetic body. So there's pieces of us, part of our essence that have ejected, that have left. And it's because it feels unsafe to live in the body. So the punchline approach is the manual, the guide, the approach to bringing all of these parts back together. It is a beautiful process. It's very empowering. It is the bridge to money and mindset and service, which is a beautiful thing, especially right now, right? Because a lot of people are taking a hit that if they were employed by the system, or if they're no longer have a job, and they are sitting here oh my God, I have all of this inside of me. I have all of this knowledge. I could be a leader. I could be a coach. I could be a teacher. I could help other people do what I did. I can help them with their skill set, right? We begin to recognize that there is something inside of ourselves that we have to offer the world, period. That is what I help them discover. What is that drive and passion within you? What is that purpose that you feel that lights you up? And we create that into a viable business. We turn that into a viable business. So that's for anyone who is service-based or holistic-based or focused on helping heal the world. So the Punchline Approach is what I teach to my clients, right? To these individuals who want to help other people heal. And the reason I talk about it on an integrative level, it's because they already work with clients and patients, and those people are not getting breakthroughs. And so this is a way for me to help them take their clients deeper or their patients deeper so that they can truly heal their life, because they don't know that this part is missing, because I didn't know it either, right? 20-something years I was searching for this. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It is like the law of attraction in action. So you know the concepts of the law of attraction, right? If you believe it, you can create it. If you think it, you can and vibrate it, then it will come. That's the law of attraction. Well, I help you put it into a tangible how-to approach. So I call it the law of attraction in action. And you can go back and listen to the podcast that is called the flaw of attraction. And what I mean by that is the F is left out, and that is the filling. And the problem is many, many, many individuals have shut off their feelings because of past traumas or situations, things that have happened, or they have been told or taught that they should not feel, that they should not cry, that they should not do that, they should not say that, you shouldn't be who you are, you're a shame to the family, all of this stuff. I often tell the story about the child who was put down or belittled, or someone bullied them, maybe even someone in the family, and then they shamed them about it and told them we don't do that in this family. We don't act that way. You have to hide this. Well, that shame is still living today. That story is still in the mind, right? So we have to be very aware to recognize it because it's unconscious. We don't see it. Anyway, it's at play and it's creating the circumstances, the results in their life today. But because they don't know it's there, because it's always been there, it's very, very familiar. Okay. So the process is all about reinventing yourself, rewriting your story. So whatever you were conditioned to believe or forced into or hypnotized into, I like to say, it's almost like society hypnotizes us to believe and act a certain way. It's about recovery and returning to wholeness. The process will help you reconnect back to home base, back to who you were when you were born as this whole healthy individual. It helps you reclaim your confidence. You were born as a confident being. Listen, guys, these babies come out and they just cry until someone feeds them or changes their diaper. They have no problem speaking up for themselves and saying what they need. They have confidence. They will smile at you, right? They are confident little beings until they are told not to be. Don't cry. You need to shut up. Why are you hungry right now? Listen, quit crying, quit crying. It's not that bad. You need to be quiet, right? We're just constantly told to be quiet. And this process is also about rediscovering your purpose. We all have a purpose. We knew it when we were a child. We knew what we loved, but someone told us it was wrong or we shouldn't do that. Or maybe we should be a doctor or we should be a lawyer or we should be a nurse or whatever they thought we should be or shouldn't be, right? So this process will help you unveil so that you can discover what has always been there. Another thing is helping to release pent up passion. Guys, passion and pleasure is within you. How often are you pleasured? How often do you play? How often do you follow your passion? Another thing, it helps you to serve your soul essence. So that is the part of you. It's always been there, but either you haven't ignited it, you haven't unveiled it, you haven't discovered it, you haven't inquired. There's some part of you, maybe when you were a child, you were an amazing little dancer or you loved to play the drums or there was a part of you that was connected to something else, somewhere else that gave you this, again, pleasure and passion and purpose, play. We've been told to turn that off and everything has become a head game. I am so sad to tell you this. If you are very in your head, very much in your head, you use intellect all the time, you're super smart, and you actually love telling people how smart you are and how much you know. Got it? And you feel like something doesn't connect. Something's not right. Something is missing. That is what the Punchline Approach is all about. 5 simple steps. It's a user's guide for managing your mind and your body, for creating what you want in your life on purpose. It is a framework for change and transformation. It will help you gain power, control, regain confidence. It is a daily practice. It is a momentary practice. And I'm going to tell you the steps. The 5 simple steps are, remember it spells punchline. So the action steps, punch. The P stands for presence. We could stay in the P part like for a year with our clients. So presence is about getting still, quiet, finding that place of calm within yourself. You have to drop out of the busy head. You have to drop out of the intellect so that you can become the experiencer, the watcher, so you can become awareness. The second step is to unveil. So now that you are quiet, now that you are calm, now that you are present, we can start to inquire and ask questions and begin to unveil so that we understand. So unveil, unravel, unpack. Just think about the you, like all of the things that you undo in order to understand. So what we want to do is like unpack it so that we can discover what is behind it. So it's basically this peeling away. We spend a lot of time with our clients here. So we are like uncovering all of the conditioning and we're questioning it. We're inquiring. We're getting really curious. Like, is that true? How do we know? Like, could we prove it? Is that just something I was told? Like, what is truth, right? Because truth is basically your perception. Truth changes. My truth changes all the time. As I learn and evolve and grow and see differently, then I'm like, oh, I thought that was true. I thought that was true, right? No, maybe it's not true. So the second step is unpacking, unraveling, dismantling those old beliefs that don't serve you. Because you know, what we used to think when we were 3 or 8, we don't necessarily need when we're 28 or 58. Kind of like, you know, one day we realized that there really wasn't a tooth fairy or a Santa Claus. Okay, so first you have presence, then you have the unveiling, and then the third step is you have navigate. So what happens is once you have unveiled so that you understand, then you change the trajectory. So imagine navigate as being like changing the GPS. Like, so I was going here and I needed to, like, there's road construction, I needed to go another way. So you reset the GPS. So it's like, oh, plans have changed. I no longer do that. I now do it this way. And that is because the mind learns through repetition. So you have to first understand it. It has to be aware. So the mind has to see what's going on. You have to be in awareness, and then you have to make a conscious decision to do things differently. Now, because the mind works through repetition, you have to do it over and over and over. So this is kind of what we learned in hypnotherapy when we do the 28-day meditation. So it's like you do the hypnotherapy, you bring the mind to understanding of what happened. So you unpack the story, and then you have this meditation that you listen to for 28 days. And that is so that you can reset the neural pathway. So that is, think about navigate, the N, right? Neural pathway. So you navigate so you can change the neural pathway. So a very simple example would be, it's 8:30 at night. I want Oreos. And then you catch yourself. So you're present and you unveil. Am I really hungry? Why am I doing this? What am I doing? And then to navigate, you're like, that is not me. That was me before. That's me, like when I'm uncomfortable. Now I know better. I'm going to do things differently. So that is the example of navigate. So now you're present, you unveiled, and you navigated. It's like, now what? It's like, now you create the future self. You create the version of what you do want to be. Now that you've navigated what you don't want, you're like, what do I want? And you make a conscious decision to create what you want. And so here's where the law of attraction comes in. You visualize, what is it that I want? Say you want to lose 30 pounds, and then you visualize what it would look like, what it would feel like. You see yourself dressed in that clothing, and then you feel what? Confident. You feel comfortable, right? And so you take yourself to that place. So here's what I mean by the law of attraction. You don't want to miss the feeling part. You want to create the vibration in your body. So you close your eyes, you imagine yourself 30 pounds lighter, you see what you are wearing, and then you feel that confidence. You feel all the way into the body. You let it drip into the body, what you would feel like you imagine it. You could be looking at yourself in the mirror. You can take yourself to a time where you weighed that certain amount. Like imagine it in another person's body. So you see their body and then you imagine that it's yours. Okay. So let's say you're 30 pounds lighter. You're wearing the outfit that you want to wear. You're feeling super confident and comfortable. I want you to come behind that vision. So see it, feel it, get all excited. And now I want you to step into that body. So you'll stand behind it. You, the watcher, you right now. Imagine the future self, 30 pounds lighter. And then I want you to walk into the body as if it were like a bodysuit, like you were walking into a glove, right? And so that you can feel it and experience it right now so that we can create an imprint right here, right now. Feel it. Don't be in a hurry. Take a few breaths. Might feel a little weird. Might feel uncomfortable. Like literally feel your arms and your body. And imagine that is you right now. Stay there. You want to be present. And then as you go into disbelief, you will unveil the disbelief and you're going to navigate and you're like, no, this is me. If I can imagine it, I can have it. This is me. Stay there. Feeling happy and whole, confident, comfortable. Stay. Notice even the discomfort in the body. Notice the sensations that you feel. And allow this confidence and this comfort to ooze down into your body. Your head, through your throat, through your heart, through your belly. Oozing confidence. Exhale anything that doesn't align. Inhale, bring in confidence. Exhale, release anything that doesn't belong anymore. Releasing all of those old stories that it's too hard, that you can't have it, it takes too long. Just release all of that. And then you can maybe even tell yourself, I am safe. I can have this. If I can feel it, if I can imagine it, I can have it. I believe it. I'm willing to consider that it's possible. See if you can get familiar and comfortable with feeling this. Don't skip this part. You have to do this step. So many people try to recreate their life without going through the steps. There is an incorrect way to do it. I'm showing you the correct way. There's a process. Now that you have imagined your future self, you've imagined what you're going to create, and you've actually felt it. You have felt the sensation. I want you to say, I receive. I receive the vision. I am the vision. It has already happened. Like in the quantum field, it's already happened. I promise you, if you felt it, it has happened. And now it's going to take some linear time here in the material world for it to materialize. That's it. This is the belief work. I believe. I receive it. It has happened. And if you need to say it has happened somewhere, then say it has happened somewhere. Exhale anything that doesn't belong. All right. Now I'm going to give you the action steps. Now that you have felt the sensation, now that you have created the vision, you're going to actually create the rest of it. So the first thing you have to do, here's the action steps. So those who love to take action, here's the intellect, the logical part. First, you have to decide to choose it. I choose to believe. I choose to receive it. You have to choose, and then you have to commit. You have to commit to yourself. You have to commit to the vision. You have to commit to the entire process. I commit. It's non-negotiable. And then you cultivate. What that means is you take action from the already done place. So that vision that you just did, that you felt all the way through your body, you will take action as if you were already her or him. You were already that person. It has already happened. Remember, it's already happened in the quantum field. It's already happened. It just hasn't caught up here. So when you're asking yourself or saying, I don't know what to do, no, you're going to come back to the vision. And you're like, what would she do? Or what would he do? If I were already there, if I had already done it. And the next step, you continue. You continue the whole entire process. You keep getting present. You keep unpacking the untrue story so that you can understand, so that you can navigate, so you can come back to the creating the vision and feeling it in your body. And then you come back to the how-to steps. You just continue over and over. It is a rinse and repeat process. It is a practice. You have to continue doing it. Now, guys, we are lazy and our brain is a bully and we are not going to want to practice, just like we don't want to do our homework and we don't want to get up and exercise. This is what you are changing. That is how your brain acts. It never wants to do what we want it to do, right? So if you know that in advance, you can plan for it. Okay, so this is the entire 5-step process. The results of doing this process, living your life's legacy as an integrated being on all levels. Mentally, the way you think, emotionally, the way you feel, physically, the way it materializes in your body and your world, spiritually, you embodying it as a soul essence. And if you do it in those 4 pillars of health, then it will also manifest or materialize in the other 4. So it's financial health, intellectual health, right? The way we grow, occupational, the way we serve, and then environmental, your community, your tribe, your people, how you show up in the world. So let me give you one quick review about the Punchline Approach. P is for presence. U is for unveiling so that you can understand. N is for navigating, changing behaviors and habits and doing it a new way to change the neural pathway, creating the future vision and feeling into that creation, feeling into that vision. And then how to take massive action. First you choose, then you commit, then you cultivate as if it already were, and then you continue over and over. So you'll rinse and repeat. And the results, living your life's legacy as an integrated being on all levels in your natural essence, living a life of ease and flow. All right, guys, this one went a little long, so I'm just going to cut it off right here. Invite you over to the More Than Mindset Facebook group where we are taking this work deeper. So I invite you to come over, ask questions. You have to hear this over and over again, and you have to do it as a practice, and it will eventually become your life. It becomes second nature. It's just a thing that we do. It's like brushing our teeth, combing our hair, moving our body. It just becomes the thing that we do. And what happens, the byproduct, is you reinvent yourself. You rewrite your story. You recover. You return to wholeness. You reconnect. You return to the confidence that you were born with, and you reclaim your soul essence. You rediscover your purpose. You release this pent-up passion, and you serve your soul essence. These are the tools of transformation, and this is the integrated process. You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to this episode of More Than Mindset.